Hey there, Alex Frabix Gaming with a new video for the new set that has been released for Pokemon TCG Pocket, which is the Eevee Grove. Right now we're going to see all of the cards. We have the complete list thanks to the PokemonZone.com. And yeah, we're going to check it out and see each card and see how good they are and maybe try to figure out how the meta is going to be shaping up. So without further ado, let's start. Sorry about my botched English. I'm not a native speaker, but I'll do my best to work out without a script, which is how I usually roll. So let's start with Tropius with 3 colorless energy for Cutting Wind with 60 damage. Absolute trash. We don't want to spend 3 energies to get only 60 damage and then lose it all. It's got 100 HP, but I don't think it's enough. So, no, trash. Moving on with Leafeon. Now, this is a good card. We got Leaf Blast that does 20 more damage for each leaf energy we have attached to these Pokemon, each grass energy. I think this will work really well with Serperior, or maybe with a Leafeon EX, so you can have this one on the bench and then just start fitting him, or vice versa. This in the active spot and Leafeon EX on the bench. So this could be a very interesting Pokemon, especially because you only lose 1 point if it doesn't work. So yeah, I think this is really, really solid as a stage 1 Pokemon. Moving on, we got Bounsweet with 60 HP and 1 colorless energy for flop, 10 damage. Okay. We got stage 1 Steenie for Leaf Step, 1 grass energy and 40 damage. That's solid. I really like that one. Moving on, Serena with 140 HP. And this ability is pretty interesting. We got Kickdown for 50 HP and for 50 damage. And it says, your opponent reveals a random card from their hand and shuffles it into their deck. This can mess up some battles where you need that card, or maybe you have a trainer card that you're gonna use with your Silvally, or I don't know. There are a lot of possibilities. I don't like that this comes with a stage 2 evolution, because if you can compare with the other Serena that we had a few sets ago, you deal a lot more damage with that one. So I don't know if I'm gonna be happy trading that Serena with this one. But it's a very interesting option just to mess with your opponent. So, yeah, that's it. Appling, we got 40 HP, 1 grass for Ram, 20 damage, pretty bad. Appleton, Switch Relay. This attack, the Switch Relay, is one of the very interesting attacks that we can have right now for this set, because if you can chain a couple of Switch Relay, you can end up with a massive attack of, I don't know, probably 120, 140. We'll see a little bit down below in the list. But this one, I like that it's only 1 grass energy, but the retreat cost is awful. And I think this won't go too far in the meta. So especially with Flareon that's coming up right here. So we have 2 Flareons. We got Flareon, normal Flareon with 40 with Assistant Healer that takes 1 fire energy from your energy zone and attaches to 1 of your bench Pokemon. This can be a really good synergy with not only Flareon EX, but maybe other Pokemon. And the damage is not great for 40 damage, but I think you can find some uses to this card maybe next in the future. Then we have Flareon EX with Combust. Once during your turn, you may attach 1 fire energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. If you do, you do 20 damage to these Pokemon. And then we got Fire Spin with 130 damage, but you gotta discard 2 fire energies from Flareon EX. So if you got Flareon on your active spot and you got Flareon EX on your bench, you can send 1 energy to Flareon EX, and then When you retreat this one, you can use those energies to power it up and finish with a fire spin for 130. That, I think that would be good. But I need to try out. I still haven't draw this card from opening packs, but yeah, I hope I can get it soon. Then we got Torkoal with Flamethrower. You discard 1 fire energy from this Pokemon. It costs 2 energies, and you have 70 damage with the Flamethrower. I've done the solo battles for this pack, and let me tell you, this is messy. I like that it feels like Torterra. I don't know the name of that card. But it's pretty solid, and you only need 2 energies to do 70 damage. And you discard those energies that can add up to Flareon EX, and then work in tandem to bring his main ability, Fire Spin, online. So this is a really good card to work in tandem with Flareon EX. Absolutely amazing. Then we got Litten with 2 energies for Flirt for 40 damage. I don't like this one. Torracat with 50 damage with Claw Slash. I think this one's better because if you're building up your Incineroar, this could be an interesting option, especially if you're going for those free energies to deal massive damage. Then we got Incineroar, but this is not an EX. This is a regular Incineroar Stage 2 with Darkest Lariat. Flip 2 coins. This tag does 100 damage for each head. It's basically a Marowak, but a little bit extra damage. But it absolutely sucks because you need to land those heads on the coin flip. And coin flips in this game are absolutely terrible. So I won't use this instead of Incineroar EX. And even with one of the trainer cards that's coming out in this set that we'll read later, which is absolutely amazing, how this card is, no, absolutely not. Moving on with Salandit, we got Ember, discover energy from this Pokemon and do 30. Working perfectly with Flareon EX, doing 30 with a basic Pokemon. I think it's really good. With 60 HP, pretty solid to work in tandem with this one. And then we got Salazzle with Combustion. I think, and I don't like this one. There are some other Salazzles that we've seen here. For example, this one with Heated Poison for 30 damage. I think that's better. Or Poison Claws. I mean, both of them work pretty well. Or even Fire Claws. I think any of these except this new one, I think they work well. So yeah, Salazzle and Salandit with Flareon EX working pretty well. Then we got Vaporeon. I love Vaporeon as a Pokemon, but this is a hard card to recommend. We got Hyper Whirlpool for 70 damage. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each head, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. Basically, it's got Team Rocket Ground baked in that attack, but you need free energies. And if you're spending free energies, I'm expecting to do a lot of damage. But when this thing lands, and you basically discard all the random energies on your Pokemon and additionally deal 70 damage, that's powerful. But I don't think that I want to go through all this trouble just to do maybe 70 and the other Pokemon maybe knocking me out. So yeah, probably not. Next, we got Glaceon. With Ice Blade, we got 50 damage to any of your opponent's Pokemon. It can be good to just, snipe any undesired Pokemon that maybe are not yet there on their evolution. But I think there are similar Pokemon, water Pokemon that have this ability. I don't remember which one, but yeah, I don't think this is a good option. Moving on, we got Vanillite with Sweets Relay, another Pokemon with Sweets Relay. 10 damage, and if one of your Pokemon use Sweets Relay during your last turn, this attack does 20 more damage. Really interesting. Moving on with stage 1 Vanillish, Switch Relay, 30 plus. It's the same, but instead of doing 10 damage, we go with 30 damage. And finally, we end up with Vanillux, another Marowak, but this is a Water Marowak. Flip 2 coins, this attack does 80 damage for each head. Trash. Alomomola, Water Pulse, 50 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Free 1 water and 2 colorless energy. No. Jigglypuff does this a lot better, so no thank you. Then we got Poplio with Watering for fairy damage, 2 energies. I don't like the basic Pokemon need 2 energies in order to attack, so I would use another Poplio that we got on maybe one of the previous sets. Maybe this one with Water Gun. I think that's better. Then we got Brionne with the Water Gun for 40. I think that's good. I don't remember the other Brionnes we had on previous sets, but this seems okay. But Primarina EX, this one is really solid. We got Hydro Pump for 40 damage, but if this Pokemon has at least 1 extra water energy, let me just, that's better. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra water energy attached, this attack does 40 damage. So basically with 2 energies, you got 80 damage. And then if you add another energy, we got Sparkling Area that heals 20 damage from these Pokemon and also deals 100 damage. So it's basically like a Venusaur with less damage and some healing. And you get the massive 180 HP. This card can probably get you in a lot of trouble. This is one of the most, I don't know, I think this card is really solid. Especially against Charizard EX, it survives Charizard EX main attack with 150. So I think this is a good option to counter that one. Maybe not against other very quick EX cards, but let's see, because we got those massive 180 HP. And if you use a Lily, maybe you have a chance to survive. So I won't discard this one as maybe one of the strongest cards in the meta. Next up, we got Jolteon, absolute trash, big and bold, 40 plus. If this Pokemon evolved during this turn, this attack does 20 more damage. No, the other Jolteon, I think it was Genetic Apex, from Genetic Apex. I think that was a lot better. Moving on with Joltik. With Jolt, 10 damage, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Okay, decent. Galvantula, Electric Shock, 70 damage, and discard all energy attached to this Pokemon, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. There was another Galvantula that did exactly the same damage, 70 damage, and it doesn't paralyze the Pokemon, but you don't have to discard any energy, so why use this new one? I don't think this is a good card or a good change. So no Galvantula. Moving on with Espeon, we got an absolutely amazing card with Energy Crush, 1 energy, and this attack does 20 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent Pokemon. And this can mess a lot of decks. Charizard absolutely crushed, because you need, if you place your Charizard in your active spot, you got 5 energies, and if you had it in the bench and you use maybe, I don't know, like Seal Valley, then you got 1 energy, so it would be 6 energies. 6 times 20, it would be 120, maybe not enough, but I see a lot of decks having trouble with Espeon. This is really good. Of course, with low energy cost decks, this won't be as effective, but this will work pretty well in tandem with other psychic cards. The psychic tool deck, absolutely amazing. So yeah, pretty solid. Woobat with Gust for 20, okay. And then Subat with Sideshot for 40 for 1 energy. I think we can go with another option. Not great here. Swirlix and Slurpuff working great with the Switch Relay. We talked about this earlier with another cards. It's the same, those 10 damage plus 20 damage for a previous Switch Relay use. And it's the same, but with this one, with Slurpuff, is a lot more powerful. If one of your Pokemon use Switch Relay during your last turn, this attack does 60 plus damage. So that's 90 damage for just 2 energies. That's really good. And then if you pair this one with Alchemy, I'm just gonna skip already to Milcery and Alchemy. Milcery, Switch Relay again, and then we got Alchemy. And Alchemy does the same, but this attack does 40 damage for each time your Pokemon use Switch Relay during this game. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. If you start with this one and leave your enemy on the floor with 90 damage, this oh my god, I'm gonna do a deck about this one. Yeah, decks coming in the following days. I'm right now playing Death Stranding. I'm doing some Excel files, to move on with the game. It's a very long game, but I'll play both side by side, and I'll pay a lot of attention to this new expansion. So this looks awesome. Sylveon, we got 2 different versions of Sylveon here. We got Sylveon and Sylveon EX. Sylveon, we got Evo Harmony, that does 30 damage for each evolution Pokemon on your bench. So if you got Sylveon up front and you got Sylveon, Slurpuff, or Alchemy in the bench, and maybe a Sylveon AX, if you got a full bench and Sylveon up front, you got 40, and for 120, no, it's 90 and 40, it can do 130 damage. I will need to test it, but 130 damage is pretty heavy damage. And if you add a red card, that's 150, and you can knock down maybe most of the big threats in the game. This is really good. You can even knock down a Silvally if you evolve right away. Oh, this is really good. This is really good. We got Sylveon EX with Happy Ribbon. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand, let me just do this. When you evolve this one, you get to draw 2 cards. So it's basically like Professor's Research. You got 140 HP and 70 attack. I like to think this will pair really well with Solgaleo. It's basically the same combo that we've been having right now. I'm sorry, I suck at names because I'm not like a big Pokemon fan. I was like 25 years ago when I was a little kid, but right now I don't know all the names. But Solgaleo's current deck is really strong, and this one I think it's a better option because you have different options to attack, and they do more damage. So this is a really good option. Mimikyu, this one is I have mixed feelings because you have very low HP, 70 HP, but you got basically Mew's ability right here. We got Try to Imitate, flip a coin, and if heads, choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. This can be a lot of trouble. If you have maybe an Incineroar in front, up front, you'll be doing 140 damage. Or if you got Charizard in front, that's 150 damage. This brings most of the good things that you had with Mew, but without losing 2 points when it gets knocked down. I think this is a really strong card, and maybe it will be one of the good contestants for some interesting decks in this set. And we got Swiss really. Moving on, we're almost there. I think we're like halfway. Okay, 20 minutes in. I'm going to try to speed this up, but we got Barboach with Mudshot for 30, 2 energies, trash. Wish Cash, 4 energies for Earthquake, 130. No, unless we get something that, can feed fighting energy into this Pokemon or other Pokemon. No, I don't think this is a good option. 130. Then we got Mienfoo with Kickshot, 40. But you flip a coin, so trash. Low kick, Mienshao with low kick for 70 damage. I think that's a little bit more decent, but not great. Carbink, hard roll, flip a coin if heads during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to these Pokemon. I think this is like Doctrio, but I don't think this is great because it's 30 damage. So no. Umbreon, I really want to try to, and depending on how the meta is building up, I will try to do a couple of decks with Umbreon because we got Dark Binding. If the defending Pokemon is a basic Pokemon, it can't attack during your opponent's next turn. If this was the Darktina meta, this will absolutely destroy that meta. But given the current status of the meta, that we have a lot of Stage 2, Stage 1 Pokemon, and especially with this new set of Eevee's Garden, I don't think this is going to be a really good card, but let's see how things unfold. And let's give it a try. Then, oh my god, sorry about the noise. We got Sableye with Scratch, 1 energy for 30 damage. I think this is really good. We got Playful Knockdown for Perleon. Discard all Pokemon tools from your opponent's active Pokemon. So this is basically a Guzma. Okay, especially for maybe some sets, but I don't think it's that strong. Especially considering the evolution with Leopard with Slashing Claw for 2 damage. Maybe you add a Giant Cape here, it would be a lot better. Then we got Mawile. Powerful buys, flip a coin. If it has your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. No, thank you. Togedemaru, Bristling Spikes for 30 damage during your opponent's next turn. If this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, do 30 damage to the attacking Pokemon. So if you add maybe Spiky Helmet, this would be great because you will be dealing 50 damage, and then you add 30. This can be a very good option. I don't like that this one is 2 energy, but it can be kind of interesting. I think this kind of interesting. We got Molten Catbot for 20. Melmetal for Mega Punch with 90. It has good HP, 130 HP. I don't think if I like this Melmetal better than the previous one. Let me just open this thing here. I don't remember we got Hard Code 130, but 120 for Heavy Impact. Given the state of the meta, I think, this can be a better option because you got 1 less energy to deal 90. You still have great HP. Yeah, I think this one's better. We got Dratini. Colorless for 20 damage. Then Dragonair with 2, 1 water and 1 electric for 60 damage. Let me try to remember how much damage Dragonair did in previous versions. We got 80 with Telesmack. And this one with Shed Skin. Yeah, I think this is better in terms of being actively more offensive. I think this is a lot better option than the previous. And Dragonite EX, I need to do a couple of decks with this one because we got Giga Impact that deals 180 damage. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack. But As with Boswell in the previous set, we don't know if you just retreat, if you use a leaf, retreat, and then retreat the active Pokemon back and get Dragonite EX back online, if that will help and you can use Giga Impact again. I don't know, I will try it out, but this card is absolutely amazing. 180 damage, that's insane. This, as a maybe match finisher card, is gold, absolute gold. We got Drampa, 470 damage, Dragon Breath, 2 colorless, flip a coin. If tails, this attack does nothing. If heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. If you didn't have to flip a coin, this would be awesome, but this is trash. Eevee, draw a card with collect. I think this version of Eevee, I like it a lot, because if you pair this one, Eevee, with oh my god, I forgot the name. Sorry. With Sylveon EX, so you're drawing one card here, and maybe if you got one of those absolutely amazing hands where you got 2 Pokeballs, you draw 2 basic Pokemon from there, and then you got a Professor's Research, you got 2 more energies there, and then you use collect, you're drawing 5 cards from your deck, and if then on the next turn you evolve into Sylveon EX, you're basically drawing half of your deck in 2 turns. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. I adore that card. I think this is really solid. Then we got Eevee EX with Eevee Evolve. That basically allows these Eevee, being an EX, to evolve into any Eevee evolution. So yeah, and for 30, for 1 color's energy, this is really good. Up next, we got Snorlax. Snorlax EX, I think this card is bad. I really wanted to like this one, but you're asking for 130 damage with 4 colors energy. And then the Pokemon is asleep. So the previous versions of Snorlax are a lot better. This art is amazing. But yeah, I think you're risking too much. Even when you heal yourself 20 damage at the end of the turn with Full Mouth Manner, I don't think this is a good card, especially with how fast the meta is. So no, not a good option. Ipalm with double hit, flip 2 coins. This attack does 20 damage for each hit. Ambipalm, Catching Tail. This is interesting. Once during your turn, you may put a random Pokemon tool card from your deck into your hand. We got Corkscrew Punch, 450. I think this maybe attack with this one, and I don't know. I think you need to rely a lot on your Pokemon tools, but I don't think those are that necessary. So I think it's a good concept, but not a great execution. Chatot, we got Tone Deaf. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. This can be annoying, but I don't think it's that great. Audino, do it away for 20 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. This is basically like Pikachu EX. That is not that bad for 20 damage. And colorless 2 energies. That's nice. Minchino, we got Pound for 10. Chinchino, Slap for 40. Trash. Squabbit, I think I got that right. We got Bite for 30 on 2 colorless. And then Greedent, 3 colorless, Enhanced Fang. If this Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached, this attack does 50 more damage. So basically, oh my god, I forgot the name of this electrical one. Electrical EX. Okay. Yeah, but no, not that great. Eevee back. Choose one. During this turn, attacks used. Let me get this right. During this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon that evolve from Eevee do plus 10 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Then heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon that evolves from Eevee. You choose any of those, and I think this works really great, especially with Flareon and some other Pokemon, this can stack a lot. So you use maybe 2 of these and you got 20 damage. And then maybe you use a red, you got another 20 damage. And if you got Flareon here that does 130, you're hitting for 170 damage in the most optimal case. So that's really good. For anyone that's using an Eevee set, Eevee decks, this is a good one. Leftovers, this is a very interesting card. We got, at the end of the turn, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot, heal 10 damage from that Pokemon. If this tool could be used not in the active spot, but also in the bench, this would be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't know if I would like to have this one instead of Giant Cape. I don't know. I think this is a weird tool. I like it, but not that much. So let's see how it goes. Then we got how. This is probably one of the cards that I'm most excited about. We got, during this turn, attacks used by your Decidueye EX, Incineroar EX, or Primarina EX do 30 plus damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So Decidueye EX goes for 80 damage and 100 damage. So it would be 110 and 130 damage. That starts to be dangerous. And Primarina EX deals 100, so that will go up to 130. And with Harder Palm, you go from 80 to 110. I think that's not enough. I wouldn't use it on Primarina EX. But if you use that card with Incineroar, oh my god, let me look for this one. If you use it with Incineroar EX, that you got 80 space damage, then you go to 100, up to 110. But if he has at least 10 damage, you go from 140 to 170 damage. And if you use a red card, there's nothing that can escape from that attack unless they have a Giant Cape. This is the deck that I'm trying out right now. I'm doing a couple of I'm recording a couple of matches, but this looks pretty solid. And finally, probably the worst card of this set, Penny. Look at a random sports card that's not Penny from your opponent's deck and shuffle it back into their deck. Use the effect of that card as the effect of this card. If it wasn't random, that would be amazing, but it's not. So trash. And that's it. That's the Eevee Grove. Eevee Grove, all the cards. I know this video was a little bit long. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think about this new set? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What cards are you more excited about? And I'll see you later here in the channel with another video for Pokemon TCG Pocket. I'll see you later. Ciao.